It's a good day today, Pentecost Sunday. This is a big day because it's the birthday of the church. Now, it's true enough that on that first day of Pentecost, there was no pope. We didn't have church buildings as we understand them. We didn't have a full and complete Bible at that era of history, and we didn't have any fancy vestments to wear. All that is true. All of that would come decades or even centuries later. But even so, this is still the birthday, the spiritual birthday of the church. Because this was the day that the Holy Spirit descended upon the apostles and changed them in a vitally important way. Before Pentecost, they were people who observed Jesus, learned from Jesus, and walked with Jesus. After Pentecost, they became people who went out to give Jesus. Okay, they no longer received Jesus, they gave him. And that's not entirely accurate, I suppose. They were still receiving him sacramentally, but for the first time, they were going out and they were serving those in spiritual need. That is the church. When that began, the church was born. And this is a big deal because Pentecost is a part of our faith life. It's not just a piece of history, you know? There's plenty that we remember in terms of history. The Nicene Council, the day Christianity became legal, the true end of the Dark Ages, the beginning of the Renaissance. All of that is history. You know, it has very little spiritual value for us today. Pentecost is different. All of us live out Pentecost in our lives, whether we know it or not. Because Pentecost equals mission. Pentecost equals mission. It's the mission that Jesus passed on to us, and it's every bit as important now as it was back then. And that mission is very simply what Jesus asked of us in the first place. Go forth and make disciples of all nations in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Do you love me? Then feed my sheep. Follow me and I shall make you fishers of men. Love one another as I love you. Take this, all of you, and eat of it. Do this in memory of me. There's a war on, you know. It's that classic war of good versus evil. And I actually do believe in that, by the way. I believe that angels and demons have been battling it out since before human history, for eons and eons. And for them, that battle is black and white. You know, couldn't be more clear for them. The sides are as obvious as they are in Star Wars. But we're not angels. We don't get to see the world the way God sees the world. You know, we're all a mix of good and evil. Thank you very much, original sin. And because we don't have perfect knowledge, it means that sometimes we fail to do good even when we intend to do good. So it's not black and white for us, is it? But in spite of those complications, the war rages on, and we are all a part of it, whether we want to be or not. And even though it is not black and white, there are a few certainties that we can be sure of. We're not going to win with guns and knives. Violence is not going to help us, no matter how dangerous the adversary of the moment seems to be. In just the same way, we will not win by being overly critical and judgmental of others, even though others are very often judgmental and critical of us. And we will not win by pretending that none of this actually matters. Plenty of people have gone down those three paths, and it has cost us dearly. Violence, condescension, and apathy are not our allies, and they never have been. We will win, you know. You can put that on the record. We're going to win because God is on our side. That's what it's all about. That's the plain and simple fact that everything else is built upon. God is on our side. So as we go about our business, following the commands of Christ, building up a better world, or at least healing the brokenness of this world, well, we're going to have to work side by side with non-Catholics and non-Christians. That's not good or bad, that's just the world we live in. Call it the new Babylonian exile if you like. But even if our neighbors refuse to believe that God is on our side, we will win and prove them wrong by authentically living out the spirit of Pentecost. Okay? That mission of Jesus Christ given to us by the Holy Spirit. Go forth and make disciples. Love one another as I love you. Do this in memory of me. That is the true nature of the church. And the church will always exist in some form as long as that mission, good overcoming evil, as long as that mission is still needed in the world.